The beautiful music there of Freetown Collective. Well, we experienced a major earthquake this week with reports of damage to properties, crops and vehicles even. Joining us on set, we have Mr. Vijay Gangaprasad, Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary and Chief Technical Officer. And he's here to discuss the services that are available following natural disasters. Good morning, welcome. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Good morning. Thanks. It's good to be here. Good morning to Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, what sort of services are we looking at and assistance that are available following a natural disaster?
Well, firstly, I just want to start off by one of the most crucial services that could be offered at a time like this. I think that from time to time, we can replace a whole lot of your tangibles, but usually in the aftermath of events like these, there's deep psychological scars. For the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services, we have the Family Services Division, where counseling services are provided. And we would like to encourage persons who are affected and who are still feeling the effects of psychologically, because I know personally of persons who are still feeling the earth shaking, or still seeing things moving around and nothing is really happening. So we are asking persons to reach out to us at 623-2608, extension 6701, all the way up to 6707. I think those are services that are key at this point in time as we try to rebuild, rebuild lives on family life.
And have people been coming forward requesting this particular service?
Yeah, there are persons who are calling in and requesting, and plus there are persons who will be generally walking into our offices seeking counseling services. It is one that is not emphasized by the, by the national population, but is one of the key services, I think, in treating with issues in the aftermath of disasters. Other than that, the ministry has a suite of services. We provide household items grant, that is to replace things like washing machine, stove, fridge, beds, those basic household items. We also provide house repair grant. The household item is up to $10,000, by the way. So no matter if your losses go over $10,000, there is a limit as to how much the household can receive. There's also the house repair, minor house repair grant. It's $20,000 in times of a disaster. There's also the sanitary plumbing, which is $15,000, and electrical wiring, house wiring, which goes up to $25,000 for both material and labor. For those persons who are displaced because their properties have been damaged to the extent that they cannot occupy the property, we also offer a house rental grant. It's $2,500 per month. We give that up to 6 months, where persons could but once they find a place and come to us, we will provide rental assistance.
There's a clothing grant as well?
There's a clothing grant, yes. There's a clothing grant of $1,000 per member of the household for those persons who would have suffered loss of clothing. Additionally, those persons who lost their school supplies. And at this point in time, a lot of persons may have already purchased in anticipation of school reopening. There's a grant that we give $700 for primary school and $1,000 for secondary school students to replace school supplies.
Now, Mr. Gangaprasad, big question. Who qualifies for this assistance and how do you assess these families?
Right. In times of a natural disaster, these grants become universal, meaning that anybody in the country could access these grants. Given the nature of the service, persons, the time it takes to do an assessment and means testing, these are standard requirements for normal services, but at times like this it is not applied. So it's universal, other than where persons have insurance that cover the loss of these items. So simply speaking, we collaborate closely with the disaster management unit of the various municipal corporations. They are the first responders. They go into the field. They will detect persons who would have suffered losses, who would have suffered damage to their homes, and they feed us the information. So once the information comes to us, we are prepared, we are activated, and we are prepared to process these grants. Some, unfortunately, because of the nature, some citizens see an opportunity, and they take an opportunity, although they are not affected. So some, we have to go through the process of validation. And we would like to appeal to these citizens in times of disasters where citizens are waiting for us. You don't clog the system unnecessarily. Give us a chance to reach the people who are really in need. So there's some validation that has to take place before we process these grants.
Right. So you mentioned the minor house repairs grant. It's up to 20,000, for
Up to
instance.
20,000.
So there would be an assessment, and you would determine whether that person would get the full 20, or how
Right.
much, right?
The grant is up to 20,000.
Right.
So if the cost of repairs is less than,
Yes.
and thanks for mentioning that, because there are certain requirements for that grant, strictly meaning that persons they must have security of tenure. The
Right.
persons who are squatting, who have no legal document for where they are, there's an issue with these persons. Notwithstanding that, once they have non-objection from state agencies like the Land Settlement Agency, we will proceed to help them. But if they do not have these documents, it's difficult to provide relief to some of these persons.
So then it means that you will have to ensure that the land settlement agencies, etc., gives the clearance on that.
Give the clearance.
That
Once
might
they-
take some time.
Well, not really. I think they move pretty quickly, especially in terms of treating with disasters. They move pretty quickly, and we are able to provide relief as quickly as possible.
So, and talking about the time frame, how long after someone is assessed, for instance, and given the clearance, that they actually receive the grants?
Right, and I'll speak from my experience in the aftermath of Brett.
Yeah.
We as a ministry was able to provide relief to persons 1 week after the incident. In the event that followed October, it was the same thing. We were able to provide services within 1 week, and it continued because the claims keep coming in and we keep doing the assessment. We depend heavily on the disaster management unit to send us the information. But as soon as they send us the information, we are prepared, we are activated and prepared to act. At the cusp of the rainy season this year, we engaged the disaster management unit so that we could look to see where there are some inefficiencies that we could remove, because we understand the urgency out there when people are affected to respond quickly. So we have, sat with them and we have removed some of the inefficiency, and the information from the disaster management unit has been coming in, and we are at the stage of processing quickly so that we could meet the needs of the persons out there.
Now, is it difficult when assessing a building, for instance, that has undergone some level of destruction, is it difficult to tell whether that happened before the natural disaster? How can you tell?
Well, you see, as I indicated, we depend heavily on the disaster management unit. They are first responders. They are out into the field, as even during the time of the event, for instance, in a flooding. So they are able to detect and to tell us. They are very intimate with the region as well.
Okay.
So they, to a large extent, are able to give us valid information. Notwithstanding, just the point that you make there, if persons are living in a house that is damaged for some reason, then it should have come to our attention in any case.
Yeah.
So if it didn't, it's an opportunity for persons to bring it to our attention in any case.
Yes. Have you been receiving many phone calls for applications for grants like these following Tuesday's disaster?
Well, what happens, based on the process that is coordinated by the ODPM, persons must first go to the disaster management unit. And I'm certain, based on the interaction with them, they have been receiving numerous calls. They're also out in the field working very diligently in search of persons who have been affected. So they are the ones who would receive the calls in the aftermath. Well, we would receive some, but not the extent to which they are currently receiving right now. We have received information already from the Samuel Lavington Regional Corporation, Couva Tabakit Corporation, and we are at the stage of processing these right now. Hopefully, within the next week, 2 weeks, we should be delivering services to these people.
Wonderful. And just to remind us some of the grants and some of what is available to citizens, and also to remind us of that number and extension to call.
Right. The first one is 623-2608, extension 6701 to 6707. Yeah. That is for counseling services. We have the minor house repair grant, which is up to $20,000, sanitary plumbing $15,000, house wiring up to $25,000 for both material and labor. We have the household item grant, which goes up to $10,000 for things like basic household item, bed, washing machine, chest of drawer, wardrobes, etc. We also have the school supplies, $700 for primary school, $1,000 for secondary school. We also have the rental assistance grant, which is $2,500 per month for a period of up to 6 months. We also have the clothing grant for families who are so affected of $1,000 per month for family members. Yeah, and There are other services in the ministry generally that person can access.
Yes.
You know, for instance, person would have lost their medication. They can come to the ministry and we will provide a grant of up to $2,500 to help them to purchase their medication. I have seen persons who would have lost their glasses,
Yes.
who came and we were able to help them replace their glasses. You know, so
Wonderful.
there's the services of the ministry are available to these persons.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Vijay Ganga Prasad, Acting Deputy Permanent Secretary and Chief Technical Officer. That was very informative. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
We take a short break. Much more when we return. Stay tuned.